Hi everyone, it's Luis again. Listen, today I'm making a video on how to create your own compote out of a flask, and this is a new type of flask that most people are familiar with. I've done deflasking on glass containers. So if you've newly purchased a flask, I'm going to show you what I do to deflask them and create a compote. What you're going to need is your flask. This one is in a plastic container. The old time glass ones, you have to break them because they have a shallow or a narrow neck. This particular plant that we were going to create a compote of is Paphiopedilum, leucochilum, and Sib. Okay, so what you're going to need is, of course, your flask. You're going to need Phison, broad range disinfectant, virucide, fungicide. You're going to need a container. This is what I used. You could use a clear plastic pot or a green or brown plastic pot, depending on your choice. You're going to need scissors to cut it with. You're going to need your burner and an awl you want to for making the hose. So I am creating a compote because this compote, if you can see here, is dated 2/1/22, which is February of 22, and it's now September 23. So these orchids have been sitting here a year and 7 months or so, and since I bought them, it was 3 months ago. And the reason I want to repot them is because I was going to go on vacation, and I was afraid that the agar was going to be all used up and they were going to dehydrate, and then I was going to return to a container full of dead Paphiopedilums. So what I did after the first month, I opened it, and as you know, I grow this. I had this in my orchid tank. See, they're very nice plants looking there. And the reason I decided also to repot it is because there's some crowding. There's some leaves that are yellowing, and if you notice, the agar is already being absorbed. So it's time to do it, in my opinion. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try to not disturb the roots that much, because what I want to do is just take them out and expand them so that they can have more breathing room, more grow room. And once they mature more, then I'll put them in individual containers. So let's go ahead and start. Oh, also, now if you open your container, and sometimes the containers grow mold, so you want to be mindful of that. So what I do, I opened it and left it in the tank for vacation time, almost a month, and nothing has happened. So I'm not so concerned about these. I'm not going to do a heavy washing of the agar. I'm just going to leave it there, because I still feel that since they're still young, they're going to need that nourishment. I think they're going to be totally shocked if I completely rinse them out of the agar and into perlite, which, sorry, I didn't mention that this is what you need. So I don't want to shock them. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to just turn it over and pop it out. Oh, hold on. Well, first you want to cut your container, which I already did. I used my sterilized the awl with my burner, and then I made the hose. See, this is the easy part. So the reason I chose this shallow container is because I can see if the roots are getting rotten or if they're actually growing. And another reason I made it is because I want to mimic the depth on the flask itself. And yes, I got rid of this, but since I'm adding the perlite's going to hold more moisture, so I'm not too concerned that it's going to dehydrate because it's already in the tank anyways. The tank is usually between 50, 60 on the dry side, maybe in the 40s, but when I water it goes all the way to the 80s. So I don't want to rot them by making them too wet, so that's why I lowered it. And there's drainage holes over here. There's no drainage holes, so all the humidity stays here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move the camera down here so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to move some of these things out of here. The only thing I'm keeping is the Faisan, the container, the perlite, and my baby orchids. So I'm just going to turn them upside down, really. Do this. Just give them a little knock. Oh, there you go. See, they're right there. See? The roots look fairly healthy. There's some rotten or yellowing leaves that I want to clear out because I don't want to promote bacteria. Now what I'm going to do after I spread them out a little bit, I'm going to spray it with the broad range viricide, bactericide, fungicide, the Faisan 20. Some people like to soak their plants, but I only do that when I take cuttings and the roots are like potentially have a higher risk of getting infections. So I'm going to try to just loosen. I'm taking more yellowing leaves out of here, like that. So since this is my container, I'm going to spread it just enough so that it can fit here. Oh, maybe not. I thought this was going to be easier than I thought, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is carefully spread them a little bit. See, it's already coming loose. There's I'm noticing some dead roots, so that's probably from where I've been adding extra water on the container to keep the agar firm and hydrated, because since I opened it, it becomes very dry. And also I forgot to add water to the tank, so it got quite dry in there. So if they're holding on to each other, I don't want to damage any of the roots. I don't want to force them to detach, because remember, a cut is an invitation for infection, rot. So I don't want to do that. And right here I'm pulling just gently, and if it's rotten, it's gonna come out. See what I'm doing right now? So let me see if it's gonna fit. think I'm gonna pull it apart right here where it's kind of crowded a little bit, and space them out a little bit more here. And the goal is to spread them out so each little seedling gets their share of light. Because if they don't get light, they're not going to grow well. So I think I spread them quite a bit. I think so. Right there. So now, see, I already pre-soaked my perlite with rainwater, and I added some fungicide, 5-20 in here. So what I'm going to do is just give it a general spray. To discourage any rot or any bacteria from growing. And I've done the compots before where I've used moss, but back then I didn't have the tank, so then I didn't have a very high success rate on some of these. So hopefully I think I'll have a higher success rate on this. I'll keep you guys posted on the results. So then I'm gonna put a little bit of perlite in the bottom just to fill it up like that. Then I'm going to sit this here because remember the bottom part's already flat. So there's a little straggler right there. I can't find the little, oh, there it is. See if you can try to, I mean, I don't know if this is going to make it. It's too tiny, but I'm going to put it in here anyway afterwards, just to, you know, maybe you'll make it. So then I'm putting the rest of the perlite here. See, it's not that difficult. And if you don't worry too much about being super, super, I don't know how do you say it, like, you know, like that it has to be perfect. Just don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do it. Like George Foreman commercial. Just set it and forget it. So, there you go. This is my, I'll bring the camera back up. Here you go. So this is my compote on my Paphiopedilum leucochilum. So remember, this is the one, the white with the little maroon dotting everywhere. So I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.